Thanks for the the chair and L girls organized this session. It is my honor to be here to share my experiences in Taiwan and talking something what we done in Taiwan. We try to blend science into popular culture. Okay. So I'm Jerome Huang from Taiwan. Okay, my title is When Science is Blended into Pop Culture. I will give you some examples from Taiwan, including science news, TV drama, and mainstream music. Okay. As most people are aware, pop culture is a culture that is closest to lay people's daily life. It is also a good way to probe into estimating how things have evolved in our inner culture. So before I begin, I would like to briefly mention a special case of science news in Taiwan as a preface to show that why blending science into pop culture should be a critical issue for communicating science. There is an obvious gap in modern science communication between Eastern and Western countries. Modern science stems from Western world, and English is the official language in most international communicating platform. Just like in this conference, even my Chinese is very good, but I need to speak in English. Okay, so such as professional journals, conferences, and meetings, we are talking in English to communicate science. No matter which country's scientific innovations, they will first be reported in English and then recompiled once or twice, and then finally become their own domestic reports, especially in Eastern countries, as they heavily rely on imported science news. So especially some Asian countries, we all rely on a lot of imported science. So based on this spatial background, we found some problems that appear in the transformation procedures when compiling overseas science news, the so-called double media disaster. So you can see this diagram. This diagram, you can, here is a point. Oh, okay. So you can see here, there are three parts. Here is the overseas original scientific research. So when scientists publish their research on the professional journal, there are so many different news agencies will report their result. But one of them are tabloid and overseas report tabloid. Here is Taiwan's science newspaper or media. They don't like this one, don't like this one. They just like this one. So the tabloid from the Western country is our favorite. So what is the problem about that? I give you an example. Oh, okay. I need to come back to the. Okay, I just want to say one error, it will cause one disaster because the tabloid will twist the original research, and our local science news report will twist the tabloid again. I give you an example. The example is very typical example in Taiwan. So you can see that the original scientific journal's paper's title is Optimal Waist to Hip Ratios in Women Activate Neutral Reward Centers in Men. And then goes to UK's Daily Mail, looking at curvy women give men the same high as alcohol or drugs. And then go to the Taiwan's a very important newspaper. The title will go into viewing sexy, prompt woman is similar to drink alcohol and to jug for men. I must say, I tried to translate it to English, but if you read in Chinese, it must be more awful than this one. So you can say twist once and twist twice. Okay, so during this procedure, what interests me is what gets lost during the transformation procedure. You can see from the original scientific research to the tabloid report, there are the most frequent error type. Okay, the most frequent error type is omitting important aspect of a research method. Okay, just like here, and less precise formulation, and omitting other important results. And then from the tabloid report to the domestic compiled science news, these are most frequent error types is omitting other important results again. Less precise formulation, misleading headline. So this is very, kind of terrible things in Taiwan. So this study, the implication is scientific explanation, knowledge, methodology, procedures were usually omitted first. So the other problem arises because science is hard to become the real culture in this way of rhetoric, especially for Eastern societies, because it is not accurate. Okay, not accurate, not interesting, not authentic, and not socially relevant. So from the STS the research, we try to say something about the boundary object and the pop culture. Based on the background, the boundary object could be a niche. The boundary object is something like share things or concept they can share on a platform to connect someone coming from different field and with different experience. So a beneficial boundary object to communicate science to the public is necessary, just like Bunch mentioned. Regarded boundary object, they mediate between experts and the public as a key mediator in the crosstalk model of science communication. And pop culture elements could be the powerful materials to mediate boundary object. So we like to look for the appropriate combination of boundary object and pop music, pop culture. If boundary object is just like an anchor, then pop culture is just like the anchor chain. So the anchor chain can hold the anchors to connect with the culture. So we need a framework to identify this relationship. Science and pop culture with very different linguistic contexts. We know that science is based on logical reasoning, explanation, exposition, and pop culture is underpinning the sense of perception, storytelling, and narrative. So if we try to construct a mechanism to diagnose the relationship, we like to construct a framework by genre and context. Here the genre is a narrative text and expository text, and the context we divide to good science and bad science. And you can look at this diagram. So what is narrative text? Story, TV drama, novel, movie, a lot of study in this conference, we talking about this type of text. And expository text is just like textbook, documentary, serious documentary, journal report. And what is good science? Science here, I think it must be accurate, evidence-based, social relevant, complete, and precise. So the procedure must be detailed and accurate. So what is the best science? Mistake, mystery, pseudoscience, rough data, partially data, or bias. So based on these two dimensions of idea, we construct the science in culture framework in this way. So in this way, you can see the division one. Here is the division one. The division one is a film, game, novel, etc. with good science. And division two, just like science textbook, science museum, serious science TV program, science documentary, or just in this division. And division three, what is division three? Mystery religious booklet, the talk of pseudoscience celebrity, or fake expert. And division four, same thing, popular culture materials, just film, movie, music, but with better science. So based on this framework, I will give you 3 examples to understand what's happened in Taiwan based on this framework. There are 3 examples: science, news, mainstream music, and TV program. The number 1 example is the science news distribution. It is based on I and Professor Jen's study. And okay. So in Taiwan, science news reports appears as 2 extremely polar pictures. Expository news reports are presented with more good science, and mostly are science news compiled from Western world's qualitative newspaper, not from the tabloid, news agents or scientific magazines. However, this just occupy a small portion. So you can see that this is smaller, and here is bigger. So what happened in the bigger one? Narrative news reports are usually domestic science news, local journalists covering scientific or social scientific issues related to domestic life, thereby introducing more narrative styles of reports that therefore presented more bad science and occupy a bigger percentage. Give some example. This example is the compiled science and is postulatory and good science. And so every year when the Nobel Prize announced, and we will have this kind of a report, correct science. Or just like this one. But unfortunately, most of the faiths are Western faiths. And then here is another example, is a domestic and narrative style of science news. Just like this one, and here. This news is talking about some chemical will cause cancer. Very good storytelling and dramatic, but unfortunately, the science is not good enough and not accurate. Okay. So another example is the mainstream music distribution. This work is the cooperation with Al Gale, published in 2015. From this study, we can depict the distribution of mainstream music in Taiwan is this picture. Most of music related to science is located on the division 3. And here, nothing. Okay, I mean, if you sing a song, love science, just like yesterday's report, they are not happening in Taiwan's situation. Here, oh no, it's here, nothing. Okay, I'll focus on here. So in the mainstream music study, we analyze what signs appears in mainstream music in Taiwan. The study show that the most songs are about love, sense, and emotion. And there is almost no good science in the music. And here is the detailed data. The data, you can see that just 5% is related to science. I use the science term, and I'm really talking about science, just 5%. And 43, all talking about love, affection, personal mood. Okay, so most scientific terms in lyrics vocabulary doesn't refer to science, technology, and most of them imply love, affection, human culture, environment. So, and astronomy and space term were the most favored subjects. So even I use astronomy terminology, it is not talking about astronomy science. It is talking about love. Okay. I will try to name a few examples to show you. So the elder tell me, what if the people in Taiwan are eager to escape the real world? So we love to use the astronomy term because the world is too struggle. Okay, so I just give you an example. You are my Jupiter. Actually, in Chinese title, it is this song is You Are My Planet. Okay. Okay. We listen a showpiece. You can feel the Chinese style pop music. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. He is a very famous pop song singer in Taiwan.
每双抬头仰望星空的眼睛，
He will say something
一定觉得
about
猎奇
astronomy.
又拥挤。星球间亘古漂浮着，彼此忽近忽远地环绕着，直到某个谁挂念，轨道才自此确认下来。
The thing of astronomy.
我们逃离这个星球，太拥挤，太啰嗦，连空气都快不够接到，冷得让人无所适从。快点走，快点走，我们逃离这个星球，怎么说怎么做，好像怎么都错，街上的人们的太重。
Okay, we stop here. Do you like this kind of song? No? Yeah, a little bit strange, right? But what I want to say is in most of artists in Taiwan, when they try to use some scientific terminology in their work, but actually it is nothing to do with the real science, you know. So in this song, they're just talking about love between lovers. And here is another, but I guess we don't have enough time to go through this piece. Astronomy, catch it, yeah. So the final example is TV program distribution. I will talk more on this category. Okay, so here you can say it is my new project. We will study science in films and TV dramas. From our preliminary results, we find that the distribution appears in 3 isolate groups, A, B, C. A is the smaller group with a repository text and good science, such as some programs like Discovery channels or National Geography channels and scientific documentary. And B is the biggest group with narrative but bad science, such as the regular drama or soap operas. And C is the smallest group with repository and bad science, such as the mystery religious channels and related talk show. Here I will give you some example. So in the group A, science expository program. The program such as Discovery, I think most of you will be familiar with this kind of TV program. In Taiwan, Taiwan's National Science Foundation also supplies a lot of funding to produce a series of programs in this style. Although it is science-centered and procedures very accurate data and process, but it is usually not so much fun for most of lay people. So they all correct, but not so fun. And we can check the biggest group is B. It is very interesting. Here is the very popular soap opera in Taiwan. It's a TV drama, but with bad, even terrible science. What terrible? The device here, it is the device for test the heart. But in the drama, they shift the device to test the brain, the misuse. You can see this picture. This is the intubation in the drama, but their setting is just like this patient is drinking the bubble tea with a straw. No, so it's a terrible setting, misuse. And here is the Beijing way. So you look like we are Beijing Maser. Let the users laugh at this situation and produce a before and after picture like this. So the net users say, if this patient recover, and he will relax in this way. His head bone must be very large. Okay, so example C is expository with bad science. Mystery religions channels and talk show concerning mysterious issues discuss many phenomena and events with pseudoscience and mysticism. Although this style of programs are not very popular in Taiwan, but they still exist. So you can see some programs like this are talking about feng shui, or talking about a talk show and talking some topics very cheap and with the mysticism. Okay? So finally, I will mention that I guess most of science communicators will agree that an ideal distribution of science communication will be similar to this diagram. Okay, so would be correct in the division 1 and 2. So thereby using any different text and dimensions to present and demonstrate good science. But in Taiwan, it is obvious that most of communication efforts were located on just division 2 and 3. So we all locate here, almost nothing here. So which means we should adopt some different approaches to accomplish this distribution. So based on the previous situation, 2 approaches will be possible to improve science communication. So I try to construct approach A and approach B. Approach A is based on good science and spreading from expository to narrative. Approach B is based on narrative text, but shifting from bad science to good science. And then I will give you some example to explain what is the approach A and approach B. So brand science into pop culture. Okay. These two approaches, I will give you 3 examples to explain that. So here is the approach A. If we have a step, we need to do it step by step. I just tell you, here is the approach A, step 1, style. If you try to say something about science and you try to not only a very serious science talking storytelling and try to talking science in rap or in interesting video, just like this manner. But I guess the time limitation, I cannot show you. You can check a lot of this example on the YouTube. Try to sing a song of rap to learn science. And A2 is about a program just like a Rumor Buster. It is a TV program in Taiwan. They try to say science in a humor and easy way and test a lot of human, just like the Rumor Buster in Discovery Channel. And the step 3, you could try to make a program is just like a drama. So here is a crime scene investigation center, iHero in Taiwan. So they will try to say science in a more dramatic way. Here is the approach A. And what most interests me is approach B. So I will spend a lot of more time to explain approach B. Approach B, I will give you 4 examples to say step by step, and step 1, 2, 3, 4. The step 1, you can see the drama in Taiwan, 2006. Okay. It is a drama about the doctor, medical drama, just like the ER. Okay. So I try to say in 2006, in this drama, the operation, the medical process is very rough, and they are not doing something correct about the operating process. Some of the episodes must be kind of ridiculous. Okay, so you say. A big accident, and a lot of patients were thrown into a hospital. Okay, here comes the hero. He will do everything. He will save all of the patients. Okay.
可是他们都是重伤患的。继续收，集中到大金手术室，维持处理。是。
So you will find that the hero must be very busy. You need to doing the operation. He also need to move the bed. So many things to do. Okay.
报告主任，66个病患已经全部处理完毕。
So you can look at the setting. It's rough. I shift a little.
Tuberculosis fracture, on spleen, on oral eyes. Interlocking nail, tendon rupture, tendon repair.
So just like Kirby mentioned yesterday, this character didn't act like a real doctor.
Spleen rupture. 爸爸。
Okay, I tried to move on to the final. So in the final episode, the president of the hospital will announce something.
各位媒体朋友们，大家好，不要急，不要急。 唐医师，里面手术完成了吗？
唐医师，你是处理10几个病患，你是怎么办到的？
唐医师，请问你的手术结果如何呢？
对不起，各位媒体的朋友们，本院的医疗团队是最优秀的。刚刚外科主任唐主任弄完了马拉松式的大手术，一次1对16，可以说是已经创下了世界纪录。
Okay, a new world record of ridiculous. Yeah, yeah, very interesting. Okay, yeah, sorry. Sorry. So the step 2, I think if this kind of a drama can be improved with beta science, it will be look like this episode. It is a piece from this year. Wake up in Taiwan. Similar situation.
是医师，他需要插管。Endoscope 在哪里？
A big accident. A lot of patients come into the same hospital.
ACLS 指导员，急救经验很丰富。
急救车过来。
护士介绍。
So you can see a real doctor will doing something precise procedure. Just like this way of intubation.
破水源一支，Q3 mini IV。好。笔有没有笔？我要手枪 A。哪里不舒服？先点来啊！其他地方有没有不舒服？好。先简单一下。医生救我！我先帮你治好。这样子头影响度，你不能头影响度。我也是。对。精神全部移过去，重症留在这边处理。
It is the right procedures to separate different injury level of patients, not just collect them all together.
其他地方有没有不舒服？就最痛，最痛是好。好。什么情况？ 这要优先处理，对。Get all cool, I'm monitor.
Okay, I stop here. And then I would like to share another example. Okay. Okay. It's coming from the work of South Korea. So I mean, if we can promote the drama to not only better science, and where they will come in with a more dramatic episode, and more fun, and more nervous. And I can give you an example of South Korea. Okay, this short episode is talking about 2 interns in the hospital. When they move the patient to the operating room, they take the elevator, but the elevator shut down during the process. And the patient will not breathe again, so they need to try to do something to save the life of the patient. But they are just 2 interns. They have no any experience to operate. Okay.
너 기관절개 해봤어?
아니, 빨리 기관절개. 제가요? 아, 씨.
왜? 저거 끊어졌어?
연결이 안 돼.
he don't have the experience to cutting.
내가 할게.
안 돼, 너 못해.
아니, 할 수 있어. 우리 둘 중 누군가는 해야 돼, 지금. 난 기관적인 책에서만 봤지 직접 본 적도 없어. 네가 도와줘야 돼. 오창민!
So the contest will be nervous.
마취제 있어요?
안 돼. 마취 상태에서 칸 침입하면 환자 죽어. 그냥 절개해.
알았어.
오진이! 오창민! 어디 갔어? 아, 왜 전화 안 받아? 오진이! 오창민! 신경 쓰지 말고 집중. 어?
여기가 윤상 감사만 맞지?
맞아.
횡절기 아닌 건가? 아니, 조절기가?
피부절개는 종절개고 윤상갑상막은 횡절개야.
거즈! 텔리!
왼손 넣으면 안 돼. 어?
거즈도!
상부과도 올라갑니다. 됐어. 됐어.
성공한 거야? 정말 된 거야?
괜찮아. 제법 잘했는데? 수술방 잡아주세요.
네.
Okay. Why the doctor hit the intern? Why? Yeah, because the intern cannot do the operating. So this episode will follow up with another medical issue, medical ethic issue. So I feel it's interesting based on the event, and the audience will enjoy the nervous of the drama, but also understand what is the right procedure happened in the hospital. Okay. The final example is from Japan. Team medical jargon. Okay. I show this episode because Japanese style. Not only very precise drama. Even their operating procedure also very detailed, accurate, and they also have a animation to explain the procedure of operating, so you can see.
これよりデイビッド手術を行う。メス。
Can you consider the procedure more detailed?
デンタル手術は大動脈器部を人工弁付き人工血管で置換する手
And
術。
they will try to explain
永久的に抗凝固剤で
what happened during the operating.
出産時の出血リスクが高くなり、最悪母子両方の死亡を招く。一方、デイビッド手術では自己弁が温存されるためワーファリンは必要ない。ただ正確な弁形成のイメージと逆流を起こさない緻密な計算、それらを限られた時間内で終わらせる極めて高い主義が術者に要求される。しかし
Shift the detail. Oh, okay.
母体心停止、胎児心拍120と130、安定。
アオルタ離断する。メッツ。はい。
And during the operating, they will go through all the procedure in the operating room. So who is the main operator and who is the assistant? Everyone's function they will go through.
アオルタ離断終了。
Okay, I stop here. So, okay, here. So, it is my conclusion. We know that the purpose of art, such as film, music, or video, is not for pursuing science. Communicating science is not the obligation for the artist. Nevertheless, as one aspect of the human culture and the social relevance, science could definitely enrich and give more meaning to the media. What the science communicator need to do is to continue looking for better boundary objects and to create a more possible way to blend the boundary object into pop culture, thereby connecting different social worlds. Through our observation, life relevance. So you can see life relevance is related to approach A and approach B, and the prominent and the precise science is related to approach B, and entertainment-based approach B. I think these three factors will help us to bring science into pop science. So I just finish here. Okay, thank you.